Hello there, my name is Grant, and I will be typing books. So today we're going to start with Wuthering Heights. Chapter 1, 1801. I'll also be narrating as I go. I have just returned from a visit to my landlord, the solitary neighbor that I shall be troubled with. This is certainly a beautiful country. In all England, I do not believe that I could have fixed on a situation so completely removed from the stir of society. A perfect misanthropist's heaven. Pause. How do I pause? Pause. Misanthropist. A person who dislikes humankind and avoids human society. Interesting. Okay. And Mr. Heathcliff and I are such a suitable pair to divide the desolation between us. A capital fellow. He little imagined how my heart warmed towards him when I beheld his black eyes withdraw so suspiciously under their brows as I rode up, and when his fingers sheltered themselves with a jealous resolution still further in his waistcoat, as I announced my name. Okay, what did I just type? 1801. I've just returned from a visit to my landlord, the solitary neighbor that I shall be troubled with. This is certainly a beautiful country. In all England, I do not believe that I could have fixed on a situation so completely removed from the stir of society. A perfect misanthropist's heaven. And Mr. Heathcliff and I are such a suitable pair to divide the desolation between us. A capital fellow. He little imagined how my heart warmed towards him when I beheld his black eyes. He little imagined how my heart warmed towards him when I beheld his black eyes withdraw so suspiciously under their brows. As I rode up, and when his fingers sheltered themselves with a jealous resolution still further in his waistcoat as I announced my name. So is he going to his landlord right now? It says he's just returned from a visit, but maybe he's recounting his visit. Mr. Heathcliff? I said. A nod was the answer. Mr. Lockwood, your new tenant, sir. Okay, so yes. I do myself the honor of calling as soon as possible after my arrival to express the hope that I have not inconvenienced you by my perseverance in soliciting the occupation of Thrushcross Grange. I heard yesterday you had some thoughts. Okay, so what is happening here? Mr. Heathcliff, I said. A nod was the answer, Mr. Lockwood, your new tenant, sir. Mr. Lockwood, your new tenant, sir. I do myself the honor of calling as soon as possible after my arrival to express the hope that I will not inconvenience you by my persistence insisting the occupation of Thrushcross Grange. I heard yesterday you had some thoughts. So I'm assuming he like showed up to this landlord's place, Mr. Heathcliff, and then I don't know what's happening. Thrushcross Grange is my own, sir, he interrupted, wincing. I should not allow anyone to inconvenience me. If I could hinder it, walk in. Okay. So that he interrupted, wincing. I should not allow anyone to inconvenience me. If I could hinder it, walk in. So I'm assuming that was like an assistant or something. And now the narrator guy is walking in. The quote, walk in was uttered with closed teeth and expressed the sentiment, quote, go to the deuce. What? Even the gate over which he leant manifested no sympathizing movement to the words. And I think that circumstance determined me to accept the invitation. I felt interested in a man who seemed more exaggeratedly reserved than myself. Okay, what is happening? Okay. The walk-in was uttered with go to the deuce. Even the gate over which he leant manifested no sympathizing movement to the words, and I think that circumstance determined me to accept the invitation. I felt interested in a man who seemed more exaggeratedly reserved than myself. Okay, so this guy, this landlord, assumingly, this landlord person is just being a little cold and not the warmest man, saying, go to the deuce. What does go to the deuce? Go to the deuce meaning? Old-fashioned term meaning to go to the devil or to get lost. Okay, so he's very cold. So the narrator has just walked up. He's already finished this trip, but now he's home and he's recounting the trip with his landlord, talking to the assistant, and then his assistant is just being annoying, and so then the landlord says, "Come in," but is kind of irritated. Okay, 66 words per minute. Page 1 of chapter 1. Let's keep going. When he saw my horse's breast fairly pushing the barrier, he did put out his hand to unchain it, then sullenly preceded me up the causeway, calling as we entered the court, quote, Joseph, take Mr. Lockwood's horse and bring up some wine. Oh, okay, nice. All right, so that's the landlord talking to his assistant. Here we have the whole establishment of domestics, I suppose. Was the reflection suggested by this compound order. This narrator seems to really enjoy talking like giving quotes to talk about the tone of the initial quotes. It's interesting. No wonder the grass grows up between the flags, and cattle are the only hedge cutters. Okay, no clue what that means. Joseph was an elderly, nay, an old man, very old. This is the narrator talking about the landlord. Perhaps, though, hale and sinewy. Okay, let's look up these words. Hale meaning H-A-L-E. Hale meaning strong and healthy. An elderly person that is strong and healthy is this landlord. He's strong and healthy, yet old, and sinewy, consisting of resembling sinewy. Lean and muscular. Okay. Great. Kind of like myself. The Lord help us. He soliloquized in an undertone. Soliloquized. Speaking one's thoughts aloud. Okay. The Lord help us, he soliloquized in an undertone of peevish displeasure. Peevish. Easily irritated. Easily irritated displeasure? What? Okay. While relieving me of my horse. Looking, meantime, in my face so sourly that I charitably conjectured he must have need of divine aid to digest his dinner. What? Looking meantime in my face so sourly that I charitably conjectured he must need to digest his dinner, and his pious ejaculation had no reference to my unexpected advent. Whoa. Okay. Bias. His religious ejaculation, that meaning his religious ejaculation of the Lord help us, saying that out loud, had no reference to my unexpected advent. Unexpected advent. The arrival of a notable person. Oh. An advent is the arrival of a notable person. Okay. Oh, that must mean, when is advent? Advent, religion. 4 week, yeah. Wait. Fourth Sunday. In Christian tradition, Advent begins on the fourth Sunday before Christmas Eve. To mark the coming. No, Advent is in preparation. It's not the fourth Sunday. Okay, cool. Anyway. Continuing, Wuthering Heights is the name of Mr. Heathcliff's dwelling. Oh, interesting. The landlord's dwelling. Wuthering being a significant provincial adjective, descriptive of the atmospheric tumult. Let's look up tumult. A loud, confused noise, especially caused by one of a large mass of people. Okay. Descriptive of the atmospheric tumult to which its station is exposed in stormy weather. Okay. Exposed in stormy weather. The atmospheric tumult, the atmospheric confusion, it says, confusion or disorder, to which its station is exposed in stormy weather. Okay. I don't know if that's literal. This is such a great way to read a book. I am loving this. Wish my camera was better. It's kind of a bad camera. It's a little... The lighting's not good. We'll work on that as we continue along. This is just the first chapter of the first book. Okay, here we go. Pure bracing ventilation. They must have up there at all times. Indeed, one may guess the power of the north wind blowing over the edge by the excessive slant of a few stunted firs at the end of the house, and by a range of gaunt thorns all stretching their limbs one way. Gaunt. Gaunt. Lean and haggard, especially because of the suffering. Grim. Gaunt thorns. As if craving alms of the sun. Alms of the sun. What are alms? Alms. Money. Or food given to poor people. Wow. Okay, food. The sun food. They're craving the sun food. Happily, the architect had foresight to build it strong. The narrow windows are deeply set in the wall, and the corners defended with large jutting stones. Before passing the threshold, I paused to admire a quantity of grotesque carving lavished over the front. Grotesque. That's like disturbing, or what is it? Comically or repulsively ugly or distorted. Grotesque carving lavished over the front, distorted, repulsive, and especially about the principal door, above which, among a wilderness of crumbling griffins. Crumbling griffins. Griffins, mythical creature with the head and wings of an eagle and the body of a lion. Wow. Typically depicted with pointed ears and with the eagle's legs taking the place of the forelegs. Wow. Okay, cool. I suppose. And shameless little boys, I detected the date 1500 and the name Hareton Earnshaw. Hareton Earnshaw? I would have made a few comments and requested a short history of the place from the surly owner, but his attitude at the door appeared to demand my speedy entrance or complete departure, and I had no desire to aggravate his impatience previous to inspecting the penetralium. The penetralium. That's going to mean penetralium. The innermost or most secret or hidden part of a building. Wow. Okay. One step brought us into the family sitting room. The sitting room. Without any introductory lobby or passage. They call it here, quote, the house. Preeminently. I'm just going to look this up for good time's sake. I just don't want to assume I know these words. Above all, in particular. Preeminently. In particular. They call it here the house. In particular. Preeminently. Okay, my eyes are getting a little, need to take a little eye stretch break, look in the distance. I hear that's good. I think my eye doctor once said that. If you're looking at a screen for a long time, you should look in the distance every now and then. Distance break is what we're going to call it. Distance break. These are my clothes hanging here. These are some bags hanging here. And let's keep going. Here we go. The house, it includes kitchen and parlor, generally. But I believe at Wuthering Heights, the kitchen is forced to retreat altogether into another quarter. At least I distinguished a chatter of tongues and a clatter of culinary utensils deep within. And I observed no signs of roasting, boiling, or baking about the huge fireplace. Nor any glitter of copper saucepans and tin colanders on the walls. So you're not in the kitchen, it seems. One end, indeed, reflected splendidly both light and heat from ranks of immense pewter dishes. A gray alloy of tin with copper. Okay, this is a type of copper you'd find in the kitchen. Interspersed with silver jugs and tankards towering row after row on a vast oak dresser to the very roof. Okay. The latter had silver jugs. The latter had never been underdrawn. Its entire anatomy lay bare to an inquiring eye, except where a frame of wood laden with oat cakes and clusters of legs of beef, mutton, and ham concealed it. Mutton. What is mutton again? Mutton. Oh yes, the flesh of sheep. Especially of mature sheep. A frame of wood laden with oat cakes. Okay, so there's a bunch of beef concealing this tower of dishes and jugs. Above the chimney were sundry villainous old guns. Sundry. Various kinds. Several villainous old guns. And a couple of horse pistols. And, by way of ornament, 3 gaudily painted canisters disposed along its ledge. Whoa, my eyes feel crazy. Gaudily. Tastelessly showy. Okay. By the way, of ornament, 3 gaudily painted canisters disposed along its ledge. The floor was of smooth white stone. The chairs, high-backed, primitive structures, painted green. One or two heavy black ones lurking in the shade. In an arch under the dresser reposed a huge liver-colored bitch pointer. What? Dog pointer? Female pointer dog. A liver-colored dog. Yeah, the term is a female hunting dog. Okay, so there's a dog. In an arch under the dresser reposed a huge liver-colored bitch pointer, a dog, surrounded by a swarm of squealing puppies. And other dogs haunted other recesses. Under the dresser? What? Okay. The apartment and furniture would have been nothing extraordinary, as belonging to a homely northern farmer with a stubborn countenance and stalwart limbs set out to advantage in knee breeches and gaiters. Wow. These are some interesting terms. And stalwart limbs. Stalwart. Loyal limbs. Loyal, reliable, and hardworking. Knee breeches and gaiters. Wait. Stalwart, loyal limbs? hardworking limbs, and knee breeches. Short trousers by men, knee breeches. Okay, great. Gaiters. Okay. Cover the ankle and protect the lower leg. Such an individual, seated in his armchair, his mug of ale frothing on the round table before him, is to be seen in any circuit of 5 or 6 miles among these hills, if you go at the right time after dinner. But Mr. Heathcliff, wait, what? Such an individual seen in his armchair, his mug of ale frothing on his round table, is to be seen in any circuit of 5 or 6 miles among these hills if you go to the right time. Okay. Mr. Heathcliff forms a singular contrast to his abode and style of living. He is a dark-skinned gypsy in aspect, in dress and manners, a gentleman. That is, as much a gentleman as many a country squire, rather slovenly. Okay, after this paragraph, I am donezo, gotta get some food. Perhaps, what is slovenly? As much a gentleman as many a country squire, rather slovenly. Messy and dirty, rather slovenly, perhaps, yet not looking amiss with his negligence, because he has an erect and handsome figure, and rather morose, gloomy, bad-tempered. Possibly, some people might suspect him of a degree of underbred pride. I have a sympathetic chord within that tells me it is nothing of the sort. I know by instinct his reserve springs from an aversion to showy displays of feeling, to manifestations of mutual kindliness. He does not like to show feeling. He'll love and hate equally under cover, and esteem it a species of impertinence to be loved or hated. Again, no, I'm running on too fast. I bestow my own attributes over liberally on him. Mr. Heathcliff may have entirely dissimilar reasons for keeping his hand out of the way when he meets a would-be acquaintance to those which actuate me. Let me hope my constitution is almost peculiar. that my constitution is a bit unusual, hoping that the way that he's looking at the old landlord is a bit off. My dear mother used to say I should never have a comfortable home, and only last summer I proved myself perfectly unworthy of one. Okay. 63 words per minute. This is page 4 of 7 in chapter 1 of Wuthering Heights. 95.5% accuracy at the moment while typing. I can already feel good little stretch there. I can already feel myself comprehending more as I'm typing, which feels nice. Wow, that took 36 minutes to type 4 pages. Great, because if I would have just read it, I would have fallen asleep because I need to type to stay alert and in it. And I'm curious now what is going to be happening with our character here in Wuthering Heights. Time to get some food. We'll resume this soon.